Hello and welcome back to Conscious Transformation. This episode is for all of you high-performing, highly productive and successful women who might be at risk of burnout or building a future that you're not 100% in love with. So, are you used to smashing your goals that you haven't even stopped to check in on what you truly want deep down? Well, if this resonates with you, then you're in the right place because I've been there too. So today I'm going to share my journey and show how to refocus on what truly matters to you and create a life that you absolutely love. So one of the first things to do is to think about who you really want to be. That will make you deeply happy. Now, I'm talking about your highest version of yourself, the ideal you, but also in this very moment, not the you in 5 or 10 years, but who you want to be today. Now, when you put a time frame on your goals, you train your mind to think that you can't achieve them now. But the truth is you can. So when I first did this exercise, I wrote down who I wanted to be in 5 years and then 10 years. And then believe it or not, I actually went to 20 years because I was pushing out some of my major goals and some of the desires that I had. And I thought, it's going to have to be in my 60s. And that obviously has changed as I've continued to shift my goals out. But then I realized that some of those traits and those behaviors were things that I could actually adopt right now. And then I started to realize that I would actually like to have that version of me now. So who was I delaying my joy for? Did I somehow think that I needed to fulfill a role for someone else? So if my highest joy and peace was being kicked down the road for my 60s, what was I thinking? I could create the life that I want then, now. And there are character traits and energies that I can channel today. So sure, I can't switch my life instantaneously overnight, but I can start to embody them immediately and start the ball rolling at least on the synchronicities, the opportunities and the process of creation. So when you've got a moment, write down everything that you want, the life that you want to be living, the freedom, the peace, the luxury, or surrounding yourself in nature. Whatever it is that you want, get really clear and specific. Give yourself permission to go wild. Think about, if only in your dreams, what you could have. Think about what you'd want to have achieved before you pass on. Don't waste any more time and think big and start putting it down on paper. I think somewhere deep down, I was waiting and I was fulfilling a role. I started very young as a mum. And so I had most of my life experiencing being a carer, looking after people, providing. So I hadn't actually looked up and looked within to say, what do I need? What do I want? I hadn't given myself the time of day needed to plan what I actually wanted for myself. And I was so driven and focused on building the right financial situation for my family, for my children, that I had not conceived that I could have had both the financial abundance and be doing something that fulfilled my hopes and dreams. So this is your opportunity. It's the knock on the door that I wish I'd had 10 years ago to get you to rethink your direction or to double check that it's actually what you want. So take this opportunity and go into detail, focusing on everything. Where would you be living? What would you look like? What would you be doing with your day? What experiences would you like to have? How would your days be filled? And what would you like to be of service to others in exchange for this freedom, peace, and abundance? So focus on your character traits, on your values, on your time, and on your experiences. And think through, what can you apply to your now as part of the creation process? So, how would you like to dress? What kind of people do you want to surround yourself with? What kind of partner do you want to be with if you're not with somebody already? And what places do you want to go to explore or to regularly visit? These are all the things that you can start practicing and embodying now. Now, often when we go through life on autopilot, because we haven't updated what we want and who we want to be, if your ideal self wouldn't accept half the stuff that you're dealing with now, why are you accepting it? And here's the crucial point. If you don't write it down, it's just a thought. It's not a strategic goal. And there's been many times over many years that I've had this process of goal setting. And each year, at the end of the year, Christmas time, is my favourite time of the year to sit down and sort of plan out what do I want to achieve next year. And as I do it every year, when I get to that time the next year, it is amazing how many things I have just ticked off my list just because I've written it down. So when I sat down to write this list, it was a bit different to what I used to do at the end of the year. This was the big dreams, pushing out and trying to know and break through all of the limits. So it was like a flow of thoughts that I wasn't even aware of to begin with. And I had to adapt my list a couple of times as I was gradually kind of stretching out my goals, expanding what I subconsciously felt I could expect to get easily. And then to rethink and say, no, I'm expecting to get this, and therefore that's why I've listed it as my goal, and pushing through my boundaries to what did I actually want, not what did I think I could get. So it's essential to give yourself the chance to sit down and let it all come out. Organize your thoughts. After you figure out what your dream self actually looks like, start being intentional about everything in your life. So being intentional means assessing it against your goals, assessing it all. Look at how you fill your days and what you fill your days with, and the actions and the activities that you participate in. If these are in contrast to your newly defined goals, then outline what it would be replaced with if you were already your dream self. So when you plan for something, you can consciously start to progress towards it. And at the same time, because of our natural reticular activating system, also known as the RAS or RAS, once you are aware of something, and in this case, your newly defined goals, your consciousness brings that thing, brings it and things like it, supporting it and moving it into your direction to your attention more often. So it's the same process when you're going to buy a new car and then you see that car everywhere. Or if you think you might be pregnant and then you see pregnant women everywhere. That is the RAS bringing what you're thinking of and what you're now aware of to your attention more often. So once you've defined your dream self, you essentially have kicked off this process of creation and now can expand and build upon that reality. And through my personal experience, I found that life itself starts to support your new process. It's like a seed finding water in the soil. It attracts what it needs to itself, and then it grows towards the surface to feel the sunlight. Your new dreams will be supported when you define your goals and act as if they're already there. Show gratitude for having what you want and feel as if you already have it. And then the doors will open for you. And you will find yourself at the right time and place. Someone will call you or a door will be opened for you to explore. So when I decided to make new friends, I found a few amazing new friends who were exactly what I was looking for. It was as if the universe was aligning to bring these wonderful people into my life. I found myself overwhelmed with opportunities to socialize and connect with others. So it was an incredible feeling to have such an abundance of meaningful connections, and it was all because I changed my plan and included it. Also, when I decided to build my new passion business, Conscious Transformation, it felt like everything I needed appeared just at the right time. The right people, the right conversations and tools. I was surrounded by everything that I needed, just as I needed it. And all I needed to do was apply myself and take action. Now, every time I needed guidance or assistance, it was right there at my fingertips. This overwhelming abundance is clear to me that when you set clear intentions and pursue your passions with purpose, the universe supports you. But it's not just about adding new things into your life. It's also very important about making space for them, and essentially to let go of the things that no longer serve you or your best self. So as you make your list of all the new qualities, the goals and the traits you want to explore, it's equally as important to identify the old habits, the limiting thoughts and behaviours that you need to release. Now, I have made some time to regularly write down a list of the qualities and the habits that I wanted to shed. Now, this process was really helpful because it enabled me to become more conscious, more aware of the aspects of my life that were holding me back. And by consciously identifying these traits, again, I activated the RAS, which made me more mindful of those behaviours and thoughts. And with this awareness, it was the first step towards change. So it can be as simple as making a list of all the qualities that you'd like to let go of. This list will serve as a tangible reminder of what you're working to release from your life. And your RAS will help you to become more conscious of these traits, enabling you to recognise them when they arise and work on letting them go. Now, I needed to get a lot better at setting boundaries for both myself and my time, but also for other people. By writing these down, I was able to focus on releasing the people-pleasing side and habit of mine, and also to reduce the multitasking, juggling component when it wasn't really helpful or necessary. Now, it's really crucial to approach this process with self-compassion. Don't hold on to regrets or berate yourself for your past mistakes. Instead, if you can, get to a place of self-forgiveness. Understand that everyone, and I mean everyone, has aspects of themselves they wish to improve. Now, the key is to acknowledge that these traits exist within you without any judgment, and focus on creating and embodying the qualities that you want. For me, this meant forgiving myself for the times that I'd been too hard on myself and on others as well, because I held myself up to a very high standard, and therefore I had high expectations of others. And recognizing that I am a work in progress. So it also is important in this same kind of frame of being compassionate with yourself, is to celebrate the small victories along the way. So as I noticed the small improvements and the shifts in my mindset and behaviour, it was important to acknowledge those differences and to celebrate them. So as you go through this transformative journey, remember to be patient with yourself. It takes time to change, and it's essential to honour your progress, no matter how small it may seem. Each step you take towards embodying your ideal self is a step towards living your best life. Now, as you start to work on defining your best self, you'll get familiar with the things you want to create and attract into your life. So spend the time looking at your goals. Try them on for size. Look at the houses or the cars that you might want to own. Consider what lifestyle habits you have, and do your best to test them out and experience them so that you can test if they'll be the right fit for you. Now is the time to do your testing and learning before they're here. And this also has the added bonus of helping you to attract them into your life and create your reality by experiencing those things. But don't stress if you're unable to try them on for size physically. You can do so with your mind. Go online and look for inspiration and set aside some time to really think through and use your imagination to test out and adapt your goals. But remember, when you do, you're most likely going to come across some limiting beliefs that create a ceiling or limit on your expectations. So watch out for them. Make sure you question the beliefs when they come up, because it's notoriously difficult to spot your own issues. You know, you can ask yourself the questions of, what would I want? And would I want it any bigger? What would a larger version of this, a more out of my comfort zone version of this be? And if I could have anything, what would I choose? So in short, give yourself the permission that you need for this. The permission that you need to think big. Think now what you want to feel at the end. Allow yourself the freedom to choose without any restrictions, obligations, or limits. And write down your dreams and desires and make a list of what you can implement today, what you can look at and surround yourself with today. Then ultimately trust in the process. Be grateful every day. Visualize your dream life. Look over and over at your goals and dream life. And then when the opportunities come up and they're presented to you, this is your time to act quickly and as deeply as you can, because this is your opportunity. This is all of the hard work of the defining your list, the visualizing, the being in the gratitude. What happens is life then works and supports you, so you must take action at that point. So this is really essentially how, once you've decided what you want to achieve, how you go about creating, and it all starts with getting really clear on what it is that will make you happy and fulfill your joy. Thank you for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode and want more, feel free to join my free online community called Conscious Transformation over at school.com. Don't forget to share this episode with friends and subscribe for more. Thank you.